So a few weeks back I tried a whole bunch of Black Templar recipes from various different YouTubers to find out what is the best way to paint them, and it was so much fun and I really enjoyed it, and it was actually quite a popular video. So I thought this week we'd do the same, but not with Black Templars, with some Krieg. So I've got a box of Krieg engineers here, my first ever Death Korp of Krieg models, and I thought, yeah, why not do the same? So we've got 4 different YouTuber recipes, and we're going to try and find out which one is the best. And here we are, 4 Krieg engineers, all pre-built and all primed. All of them are in Ghoul Grey from Colourforge. I believe it's the copy of Gracia that Citadel do. But as you can imagine, we're going to make a start on the one that's already on the painting handle. So we'll just jump straight into it, and the first recipe we're going to go for is Warhipster's Contrast Plus. So the first thing in this recipe is the cloak, and what we apply on here is this mix of 3 parts Space Wolves Grey to 1 part Ultramarines Blue. That way it's like a nice sort of like dark blue colour for the upper half of his cloak and all the stuff around his chest. And then for the legs, like the trousers, we apply just Space Wolves Grey on its own. So just, yeah, nice, like, similar to the colour on top, just a bit more like a subtle, lighter blue. So yeah, we'll just do those 2, and then we'll also maybe slap on some browns on the leathery feet and see where we go from there. Cool, so there's the cloak done. Like we mentioned, we've got that sort of darker mix on top. Then the trousers underneath are just straight Space Wolves Grey. Then these little wraps on the bottom of his feet. They've got a name. I don't know what they are. Every video I've watched, everyone has said the same thing. They've got a special name, but no one can remember what they're called. But they were just skeleton horde. Same with the face mask. I do like how that contrast sits in the mask. Yeah, it looks real nice. Fills in the holes, especially on the cloak as well. Sort of those sits in those recesses, darkens them down. Looking good. Cool, so next up we'll do just some of the leather, so like the boots and the gloves, and this is one of my favourite things about these videos, is it means I get to go out and buy loads of new paints. So I'm actually going to put Wildwood, and yes, it's a brand new unopened paint, because I am addicted to buying new colours. And obviously, if I'm following loads of different tutorials, oh, that's nice, nice brown that. I get to obviously buy loads of new paint pots. And there's the Wildwood done on the leather. That's looking really, really nice. Yeah, I like it. Especially on these gloves and this belt and stuff. I did put some Cygor brown on this little pouch here, just to differentiate some of the leathers, so it wasn't like a big blob of brown, just to give it some variety. On that note, let's move on to some of the highlights, which is, we're going to use some Wraithbone for the face mask. I will say, the tutorial mentions Screaming Skull, but I don't actually have that paint. So I thought I'd use Wraithbone instead, you know, so quite a really, really close colour, like quite nice and bright. So yeah, we'll just slap some of that on the face, and then also we've got some highlights to do on the coat, which will be rust grey for the cloak itself, like the dark section, just on some of those proper raised areas. And then we'll also do some blue horror just on the knees, just on that lighter section. And that's all of the highlights done for the coat, the trousers, and the face. I thought that was it. I thought we were done. So I rewatched the tutorial just to see, is that everything? Have I got what I need to do up until this point? And it turns out there's actually a whole other step I forgot about, didn't realise, and that is to put some Black Templar contrast over all of this lovely leather we were just talking about how much we enjoyed. I say all of it, it's just the gloves and the boots. The belt and the pouch around the sides stay the same, and so do the straps. What we'll do is we'll just darken down some of the leather with this Black Templar, and then also we're going to highlight it with some Dawnstone. And here he is, our Warhipster Kriegsman, with his nice dark blue coat, light blue trousers, skeleton horde face, and some nice Black Templar Dawnstone leathery gloves and boots. I like it, it's good. Yeah, I kind of wanted to keep the boots and gloves like that wildwood brown. It was quite nice, but actually I do quite like it with the black contrasting the blue and like the face and then these skeleton horde wraps at the bottom. Awesome, big fan. So what we'll do is we'll leave Warhipster here, and then we'll move on to the next one, which is Nuka Kitten, and I believe I'm doing Eshin Grey for the cloak. Where is it? There we go, I've got this pot. And then, cool, yeah, we'll do the, after that we do Administratum Grey for the gas mask, and then I believe Dried Bark for some of the leather bits. So yeah, let's just start layering some of these colours up. Sweet, there we have it. Just the base coats on the gloves and the cloaks, and yeah, it already looks like real grim dark and like heavy. It's a nice comparison to the bright blue cloak of the last one we did, and that's one of the things I was most excited to do about this. Like, because I think there's such a variety of like colours and stuff that look good to see them all lined up together. So, just slapping on some Xandri dust on these little wraps around the back. It's the final base coat for the details we're going to do in this section. And once this is done, what we'll do is we'll put some Agrax Earthshade on the whole model. I say the whole model, the sections we painted. Then we can start highlighting. So I believe it's just Mechanicus Standard Grey for the coat highlights, and then some Dawnstone for some spot highlights. So that's all of the colours, washes and highlights done for the cloak, leather and wraps for this recipe. But there is one last thing we actually have to do before we move on. It's something quite unique and something I've never done before, so wish me luck. That is we use some pigment powder to create a kind of like a dirty wash. So like I said, I've not even opened this yet, so I don't even know what it looks like inside. Oh yeah, okay. So the video says to sort of like wash this in with a bit of water to make a chalky kind of like grimy dirt mess. And then that way we can brush it down the back of the cloak to make like sort of like weathering dirty mud. So all like down here and down the back. Okay, that was not too bad. I definitely made it too like moist and put too much on this left side over here. Like you can see, it's just basically painted on. And it's quite cool, you know, I like the effects. I'd definitely be keen to do this again in the future. Like, I'm glad I brought the little pot because yeah, I did buy this just for the video. But I'd be keen to try some more stuff with this sort of like brown pigment powder and just, yeah, trying to get cool like dirty washes. I've got a Black Templar Primaris Impulsor somewhere that I could, yeah, just lather this all over the tracks and whatnot. Cool, so that's everything for this recipe until we come back for the rest of the details later. Moving on. And next up is our third recipe, and that is from Medicore Hobbies. And he uses all of these colours like Sandry Dust, Agrox Dune, Skeleton Horde to make this sort of like tanned desert look, and it looks great. It's so cool. So we'll start off with a coat of Skeleton Horde over all of the coat and I think the trousers as well. And then we'll do some Agrox. This is, again, another new paint I've not actually opened yet, so what is this? Agrox Dunes for the leather, so like the boots and the gloves. That's it for the first two base layers. Looking, gonna be honest, a little bit touch and go, a little bit messy, but I don't think that's because of the colours. I think it's I really need to work on my like contrast paint application. Yeah, kind of like the back of that coat there, like it's sort of a bit all over the place. Luckily though, we've still got some more things to do for this cloak, so hopefully that might tidy it up and bring it all in. And that is a wash of Seraphim Sepia, and then also we're going to layer it up with some Sandry Dust. Where is it? There we go. Yeah, just kind of on these raised areas, and this is something I do want to work on myself. So I guess if we, like this bit here, maybe like as a bump at the back, there. Yeah, just try and like layer it up with some Sandry Dust, just to kind of like lighten up the top half, and then maybe like keep some recesses dark, nice and dark. And there we are, the nice, cool-looking Desert Storm look. Yeah, I'm a big fan of this. I don't think my application's that great, just because I struggle with like layering cloth. Like you can kind of see, it's a bit all over the place. And I do think I've put the washes and the contrast paint on a little bit too heavy. So like, I don't think I've done a great job, but I do love the vibe. Like I love the scheme. And what I'll do is I'll put a picture of Medicore Hobbies one here of what it's actually supposed to look like, so you can see what it should look like and what a good painter can do with the recipe. But I do love the vibe of it. It's so cool. Like it's such a nice contrast to the grim dark one we did for Nuka Kitten and the bright Warhipster like blue one. Yes, like I love the scheme, and it does it really, really cool. And I think if you are as good as like Medicore Hobbies or someone who's been painting for longer than 8 months, you might be able to do a better job than me. But no, just on the recipe alone, I love it. And I think it's going to look so much better as well when you put the details on. Yeah, moving on to our fourth and our final recipe. It is from the Painting Coach. So color-wise, it's actually kind of similar to the Warhipster one. It's kind of that blue vibes. But application-wise, it's more of like a Duncan Rhodes heavy metal approach, where we're going to put down layers of, I guess, like Incubine Darkness. I think there was a Rust Grey in there. I can't remember. Like Dark Reapers. Kind of all of these like blue colours, and then like layering up with a lot of edge highlights. So no contrast paints, all like base and layer paints here, and then sort of like layering up the colours and doing lots of edge highlights and whatnot. Right, so actually we start off with a base layer of 50-50, half Incubine Darkness and half Abaddon Black. And then we relayer over the top just straight Incubine Darkness on its own. Yeah, so there's the first like base coats done. We did that 50-50 mix of Incubine and Abaddon Black, and then we relayered some Incubi Darkness over the top, almost as like a full coat, just leaving a couple of the recesses there just as like shadows. And yeah, this is looking good so far. I like this. So next up, we're just going to slap on some Dark Reaper as some sort of like highlights, some streaks down the top, the highest facing sections. And then once we've done the Dark Reaper sort of raised sections, we're going to do Thunderhawk Blue, the same, just a little bit more finer, those really, really high raised sections. So yeah, just building up those like layers and layers of the blues and the greens. Cool, so there's all of the layers on the cloak, like we mentioned, that fold that's coming out just down there in the corner and then around that side, and also the cuffs on the gloves, I didn't realise as well, was mentioned in the video, that we put some rust grey on, so just to line it up, so we can differentiate between like the trousers, the cloak. So next up, what we're going to do, the last couple of things to this cloak, to be fair, we're almost done. So we're just going to layer on some, what's the colour called, where is it? Griff Charger contrast, mix that in 50-50 with some medium, just like shade down the cloak, the bit we just rust greyed that is. And then we're going to put some Fenrisian Grey. Just trying to literally click through the video as I'm saying this. Yeah, cool. So what we'll do is we'll put the contrast mix over, re-layer a little bit of rust grey over the top again, just to sort of again build up some more layers. And then yeah, some Fenrisian Grey edge highlights across like just literally the folds, the creases, the highest parts. And there it is, all of the colours on the cloak, all the highlights, looking good. Yeah, I like the differences between sort of like the back darkness. Oh, so I like the difference between the dark back there and then like the nice bright folded bit. The knees as well. Just a couple little things left for this dude before we move on to the details for everything. So it'd just be like the gas mask and the leather and the wraps like we've been doing for all of them. So the wraps and the gas mask are Zandri Dust, Seraphim Sepia and Ushabti Bone, just the same sort of thing we've been doing across a lot of them. And then for the leather, it'll be Rhinox Hide. So I've gotten a little bit ahead of myself. So as you can see, I started lining up all of our boys to do a little review. To like, okay, we're halfway through. We're going to move on to details. So as I was doing that, I was also checking the tutorials just to be like, right, what are the details looking like? They're the same for everyone, right? And I've actually done something slightly wrong on this painting coach one. Literally just the boots. I assumed that the boots and these gloves were, well, I assumed the boots were brown and these gloves were part of the Incubi Darkness, Dark Reaper kind of mix we've done. But no, they're both black. So these boots and these gloves should be black, and it turns out this big square on them is actually meant to be a silver plate. So I'll quickly just do that out off camera. Just thought I'd make you aware, just for continuity, so you know, if you're following the same tutorial, you're like, why have you done it brown? I haven't. I made a mistake. So I'm just going to slap black over these, and then we'll have a little midpoint review now, actually. And here they are, all 4 of our Kriegsmen, all with their own colour scheme, their own unique vibe, and their own unique recipe. And yeah, these are looking great. I love the variety in them. They look so cool. Like, I love how we have got exactly what we wanted, which is like a nice bright blue one, nice dark grim dark, nice middle for a tan, and then like a real edge highlight heavy one down here with like multiple layers of like blues and greens and whatnot. And it's great. Yeah, such a nice like display of all the colors that you can paint these awesome looking models. So like we mentioned, we've done all of the unique colors on them, like their coats and the coats really. And then, so what's next is just the bulk details. Like the weapons are all going to be like black and silver and grey, and then same as like the armor panels, they're all going to be like silver, black Templar contrast, and then some more silver to do chip damage and whatnot. So yeah, without further ado, let's just bulk paint some of these details, because I think they are going to really pop and look so much better with all these details on, especially this Medicore Hobbies one. I'm really excited for this one. And there's all of the black armor panels done on these three dudes. Yeah, just a layer of silver. I used gunmetal just because I've kind of gotten into a habit of using gunmetal as the base. It's quite dark, and then highlighting with oily steel because it's quite bright. Just a personal preference. So you can use, I imagine, like any silver on this. All the recipes are talking about all sorts of different silvers, like lead belchers and everything, but silver's all the same for the most part. But most of the silvers are interchangeable. But yeah, silver, then black Templar, and then yeah, just got various amounts of chip damage. I tried like some stippling on like these two, like a brush, just manually stippling along some like chip damage to give it some character and some depth. And then this dude, I was just sponging it on just to try out that as well. Looking good. Really coming along now. Yeah, it's probably adding a lot of like character and fullness to them. Yeah, definitely filling in that gap that was there before. I guess if you're a long-time viewer of the channel as well, you might be thinking, where on earth have these Krieg come from? Paul, you collect Black Templar and Space Wolves. What are you doing with a box of Krieg engineers? And the answer is, I actually went on holiday recently, about a month ago now. Went to America, where me and my partner got married. So yeah, while we were out there, we went to Vegas, got married, and went down to California to do some other bits and bobs. And while we were in California, I actually popped into the Warhammer store there. And let me tell you something, it's a cool store. They've got loads of like statues and figures and all sorts. But also as part of that, I said to my wife, I was like, you know what? Pick a box, any models you like the look of, anything you think looks cool. And what I'll do is I'll build them up, I'll paint them, and then that way we can I can have one or two, she can have one or two, and then every time we see those models, we can be like, oh yeah, it was like a little reminder to the lovely wedding trip we had. Kind of like a honeymoon wedding sort of minis is what I call them. At least that's what I said to justify just buying more models. So anyway, to get some more in. So yeah, that's where these have actually come from. They're actually, I guess, little wedding figures, little wedding models. Oh yeah, these boys are really coming along now. I knew the details would make them look even better, but this is exceeding my expectations and then some. They're unbelievable. Yeah. Oh, I'm just too excited to stop now. Right, yeah, let's get these last things done. So it's just the weapons left, I think. So the weapons are all pretty much the same. It's all just like black and silver for the most part. Like the handle for this grenade, the black. The casing of the gun is black with some silver on it. The head of the grenade is silver. The only minor differences, I believe, will be this sword handle will be gold. And here they are, our 4 unique different Kriegsmen, all with their own style, colour scheme, recipe, and vibe. And yeah, this is a big success. I'm super happy with this. They all look absolutely great, and they all look so different. This is one thing like I was really enjoying as I was going through them was, yeah, how like unique, different, and how many customizable choices and how much like style you can put into these boys. Yeah, these are great models. So I guess if we just go through them one at a time quickly, and then we can sort of like line them all up together. So if we kick things off with the Warhipster recipe, this was using contrast paints like what was it, ultramarine blue and Space Wolves grey to make like a sort of dark coat and some lighter like trousers and stuff. So layering on some like blues. And yeah, I was really like this. I like the difference between like the nice light trousers underneath and the cloak, and then like all of that contrasting against like the big black armor. Yeah, real big fan of this. Really good. And using contrast paint makes things a little bit easier. Like one thing I've struggled with throughout this video, just personally, is layering the cloth. So you'll see on some later guys that the layering and whatnot and the highlighting isn't too great on like clothy materials, but this was really good and easy in that aspect, or easier because of the contrast paint. So it kind of sits in those recesses quite well and looks quite nice. And yeah, it's like a nice bright bold colour, but like a nice dark blue. Very full, very like a full-bodied color. I do quite like it. You know, it looks really good, especially like when you pair it against the wraps in the back, and it kind of like mixes quite well with the black on the chest. It's good. Yeah, I'm a big fan of this blue. And yeah, like application-wise, it was fairly easy. Like it was, like I mentioned, straightforward. Like the contrast does a lot of the heavy lifting. So yeah, big fan of this one. And this is the Medicore Hobbies like desert tan look. And I will actually say I originally wanted to do 4 completely new YouTube recipes. So, because in my last Black Templar video I did a Medicore Hobbies, but so many people in that comment said they follow his recipes and they've been watching his channel for ages. I was like, okay, maybe I should include him again because he seems like a fan favourite. And then also when I checked out his videos to be like, how does he paint Krieg? This recipe came up and I was just like, oh wow, this is so cool. It's so unlike any other Krieg I've seen before, because as you'll notice for the other 3, they're quite like dark blues or greens or like grim darks and greys. But this is like the complete opposite end of the spectrum. Just like bright, like bright desert tanned kind of vibe. I absolutely love it. It's so cool. I think it would look even better if I could lay a cloth properly. Like especially when you compare it, like I obviously put up a picture of his one, but when you compare it to how good his looks compared to mine, it's mine's a bit touch and go. But I do absolutely love it. Yeah, such like a contrast and such like a bright in your face kind of like look, and it's so unique and different to what I've seen on other Kriegsmen. Big fan. I love it. And then moving on to the Nuka Kitten like grim dark Death Korp green recipe. Oh, this is wow! Like there's so much going on in this. So there was like the blue grey kind of cloak underneath, so a bit more like traditional one, and then we've used the Death Korp green on all the armor panels, and it just like it's such a cool just cool imagery of like that blue, the green, and then like the dark brown boots and mud and the black weapons. It's just like a cool, really cool complete package of just like awesome looking colours, all real dark and all real like gritty and grimy, like World War II grim dark. Like I feel like it fits the Krieg vibe really well. And the back of this, like, oh, I guess one thing I should probably mention that people are probably screaming about is they are meant to have backpacks on. I do have them over here somewhere. I've just left them off because I just wanted to show off the cloaks a bit more, because like the whole point of this test was to see like the best sort of cloak and the best style, and if you like, yeah, just shove like a backpack on, it covers up so much, and like, yeah, it does look better for the model overall, but I want to show off as much of the unique colours and paint jobs as possible. So I just left the backpacks off for that. But yeah, I love this sort of like pigment powder, sort of like scratchiness at the back. I definitely used a bit too much back there, but then as you come around the front, on like the knees and whatnot, and the side cloak there, it looks incredible. That's definitely something I'd incorporate, like, if I was doing Krieg in the future, no matter what scheme and colour scheme I chose, I would definitely get this pigment powder and just like slap over in this grimy look. Really big fan of it. And then last but not least, this was the painting coach. Lots of blues, lots of like, what was it, Inky by Darkness, Dark Reaper, Fenrisian Grey, Thunderhawk. There were so many like different layers of blues trying to build up like gradients and whatnot. I do think this would be one of the most professional box art, like best looking, if you're really good at layering cloaks and like layering cloth and colours and whatnot. Because yeah, there was so many colours going on, so many transitions and whatnot. It looks unbelievable in his video, and I don't think I've done too bad of a job here. Like obviously it could be better, especially the back of those arms. I sub-assembled it, and I don't know, the arms, when I was gluing them on, they didn't sit too well, so the arms are a little bit shoddily attached, so you have to excuse that. But yeah, I think it does look really good, and I think if you're really good, like I mentioned, at that layering and highlighting, this would look the best. I do love the blue colours though, like, because there's so many different shades of blue and green on that spectrum all built up on him. It makes for a real nice like imagery. A big fan of that. Yeah, big fan. Also, just a minor thing for this model. This is like the coolest pose in the world. Like foot on the wall, shotgun in hand as a pumping rounds. I absolutely love this. These models, yeah, are so cool to pose. They've got so many cool details on them. I absolutely love it. And here they are, all 4 lined up. And yeah, I don't know if I can pick a favourite, you know, because they all just look so good. Like if I was to build a Krieg army going forward, I don't know what one I'd pick, you know, as like a vibe. Like they all look really good. Like I love like I mentioned, the 2 blue ones. I really like how much they pop and complement like the black and the wraps. I love the cool, unique look of the tanned one, and just a complete grim dark package of the Nuka Kitten one is. It's almost like impossible to pick. But I guess if I had to pick one, like gun to my head, it might have to be the Warhipster one. I just like how the cloak and the trousers are the same colour, but like different shades, you know. So they're like that darker blue coat and the light blue trousers. Then just trying to like see how does it complement the wraps. Yeah, it does look good. I do quite like it. I think it might be the. You know what, I did say the Warhipster, but maybe the Nuka Kitten one. I really like this complete package of the dark greys, the green, and the browns. There's just like a lot of different colours going on, and they mix quite well. I do just love that sort of black and silver chip damage armour though. It just looks too nice. So yeah, maybe just by the tiniest of margins, the Warhipster one ekes it out, but they're all great and I absolutely love them all. And there we have it, 4 different Krieg recipes from across YouTube, and yeah, this was a blast. Like I knew this was going to be fun going into it. I've never painted Krieg before, but I looked at them, I was like, these look like they could be really fun to paint. And when I was researching for recipes, there was like so many different ways to do them. Honestly, I was spoiled for choice, like trying to pick good recipes. But I think I really like the ones we picked. I think they really cover like a spectrum of like the grim dark, the kind of mid-tones of blue, and then the nice bright tan. And they all look great. Like I love different aspects of all of them. And even not just like sticking to Krieg recipes, but like taking things from them, like that what was it called? The pigment powder as like wear and tear and dirt. I love that. That was really cool. So I can put that on. So yeah, this was a big success and it was really, really fun, even if I never touch another Krieg again. But, and I do love these videos. They're so much fun to do. I'm really glad that the Black Templar one did really well, because like my favorite thing in Warhammer is just trying new things, like painting new models, new colors, new like vibes. So knowing that people enjoy watching these type of videos where I try new stuff is really fun as well, because it means like I have an excuse to go out and buy different things and more paints. So if you did enjoy this video, as always, drop a like and subscribe and all that stuff. But let me know in the comments as well if there's a specific faction or style or model that you'd like to see like recipes tried out on. Like in the last video, a few people mentioned Blood Angels would be a cool thing to try this like experiment on, or if you want like Orcs or Necrons or Space Wolves or literally anything. Just let me know in the comments. But as always, thank you for watching and tune in next time. Bye!